called You Have the Right to Remain Silent. Words. Words, words, words. They're kind of magical if you think about it. The things they could do, the power they wield, they can be a tender caress, a loving whisper, a warm blanket, a safe haven. Well, words might be the things that save us. But what happens when they don't? The words that once held us through the darkest nights and the harshest storms, at the worst of times, they become daggers and knives, pierce your heart, burn you at the stake, throw you to the flames and laugh at the blame. Kindness is a whisper, but rage is a scream. How many whispers can drown it out when volume is the whole game? But when you ask questions, they say context is key. So tell me, in what context is this content not a concerted attempt at convoluted condescension, born out of corrupt conscience that won't conclude to mention when they wreck the harmony and then wonder where the words went wrong? It's when words become weapons, born out of cruel intentions, vying for attention. Was it worth the 5 seconds? They're lucky to escape unscathed, halted the riots and fires and rage. Cease this. We don't need this. We know better than to believe this. 'Cause we all need songs of kindness. But when your words incite violence, perhaps you need to be reminded. You have the right to remain silent. Thank you. Next one. So again, you may have heard this before if you've been sitting here for a while, but I wrote this poem at a concert and it quotes a bunch of songs. No one has quite managed to tell me if they've identified every single song quoted in this poem, but there's a prize in it for you if you get them. So here's your challenge. Outside of this arena, the horrors persist. The world gets bleaker with every war and rift, but for 3 hours in here, none of it exists. She steps out on stage in dazzling glitter. Nothing distracting, it's the aura she brings with her. The voice of an angel could carry you away from the hell that's awaiting, and for a second in that stadium, I wonder if this music might be the thing that saves us. Out there, the bad news is endless, but it doesn't render us helpless. In this kingdom, we call ourselves united. Look outside. Hell, this planet has never felt more divided. The blues and the reds fight old feuds, dredge the mess behind walls of glass, while everyone else lives one paycheck to the next, and yet those who lead are never for the many and all for their money. What do you want me to tell you? That it's worth something in the end? I don't have the answers. I wish I knew where to find them. What if I ask the same questions? What if the darkness gets me too sometimes? I can't blame you when the bleakness outside dims the brightest parts of your soul, but the best I can do is block it out from draining mine too, else we'll all be doomed. The world may be on a railroad to hell, but there are glimmers of a light at the end of a tunnel of a snowstorm. The ice has to thaw. It will, right? After the darkest nights, what else can drive it out besides light? Isn't that just what we as humans do? Channel grief into art and loss into love. If darkness is, then let it be so, but it cannot dim the light that unity shows. How else do we understand our fears and our hopes? And how else do we cope with the state of a world about to implode? If we let it go, who knows? Who knows? I don't, and I won't. So look for that North Star, however far apart, seek it wherever you are. There's that glimmer, the thing that keeps you from giving up, the small sliver of hope that keeps you waking up and fighting another day. Let the melody make it make sense until the noise finally goes away, and our songs and harmonies are allowed to play again. Because if this music may contain hope, I'll wait and pray for warmer days to come, until the days of fears and failure fears and no one cares make sense again. I know the dark shows up more than we'd like, but know this, we belong together. If it all breaks down like it always does, then it all works out, 'cause it always does. And these things will change someday, someday. Thank you. last one. If you've been here long enough, you will have heard 4 different versions of this poem already. Because, as a great writer and one of my biggest inspirations in this world has said very correctly, writing is rewriting. I started writing this poem in the car on the way here, and it has been through a whole arc since then. So you have never heard the same version of this twice, and you'll probably never hear it like this again, because I'm probably gonna do something else to it later. On that note, let's go. She must hereby rescind her membership to the Department of Tortured Poets. Here's the cause of this. It begins with a visual of you as some sort of Orpheus, like she would follow you out of hell and all the way back to earth, but in reality, if she were Eurydice, you'd barely even notice her leave. You only know as much as she's willing to reveal. What she dares tell you is not concealed by choice, but by fear. She can't bear you her soul. She'd rather know yours, as much of it as you'll give her. She internalizes every word, memorizes every detail of your face, until she knows your darkest fears while you barely even know her last name. For when she looks into your eyes, the only story that matters is yours. And as for her own, she goes home and floods her notes and reads poems in a room full of kind strangers who will never know why she does any of this at all. And for a while, she will subject them to her lament over how restlessly she regrets all the things she never said, for the brief second that she held your attention, and for a lifetime of wishing she could replay it again. While being perceived, there really is no need. Look away, please. This isn't the show you came to see. She looks to the doors for an escape route, abandoned by Apollo and the Muses, the wings outside the windows. Could it be the fates, or is that you here? No. So how long shall she pause for scattered applause before she fears that there's more than her echoes off of these floors? With that thought, she rests her card upon the desk, places down her pen, and before you can build her back up only to tear her down again, she sabotages it all herself. Thank you.